So let's continue string class. So this one is already what we call methods for manipulating string. So we have different types of methods when it comes to string class. This is exactly the same as C string functions, but for string class, we call it methods. And the syntax are not the same. So for the syntaxes of string class method should be, okay, so take note of this, for the declaration, okay, so we always use string object, then we have to use the dot operator, and then the method, okay, and then followed by the parentheses, okay. There are methods in a string class that doesn't have any parameters within the parentheses. There are some one parenthesis, some are two parentheses, parameters. There are some three parameters. So again, a method which doesn't have any parameters, a single parameter, two parameters, or three parameters. Okay, so those are the syntaxes when it comes to string class method. So what are the methods in string? We have the length, the at, the compare, empty, erase, finds, etc., etc. We have also insert, replace, sub, str, and then we have the swap. Okay, so let's have first the length. Okay, when we are talking about length, this is the same thing as strlen, but in this case, we're going to make use of length. Okay, so for example, again, let's have the code. So here, I'm going to declare string str1, okay, and then I'm going to include already, again, Gloren Fuentes, okay, semicolon. Then we want to get the length of this. So again, the count of the length or the size of the characters is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, okay? So it should be 14 in size. So first option, we can actually declare it within the cout. So cout size is, then we have to use the object name, which is str1 dot, okay, so automatically there is an IntelliSense within dev C++, and then you type length, yan. Okay, then you just press enter key to complete it, and this one, okay, doesn't have any parameters within the parentheses because you already have the object here. Okay, so semicolon, and then let's run the code. So the size is 14. Okay, so again, this is the method. As mentioned a while ago, method can have no parameters within the parentheses. There is a single parameter or two parameters up to three parameters. Okay, so in this case, we can also use another option for the length. For string class, we also use the word size. Okay, so let's just have that, and then let's type size. So that's the same thing as length. So when I'm going to run the code, the output is also 14. So another method is at. So when you say at, it returns the character at the specified index. So we can actually display the value of the string character per character. So let's say, for example, I want to tokenize the value or separate the values of the string. For example, I type hello, and I just wanted I want to display it separately. I want to display HELLO. Okay, so I'm going to display the first position, the second position, and up to the last position. So I'm going to make use of the at sign, okay, or at method, because we cannot actually extract all the characters within the string if we do not use this kind of method. So let's have this. So cout string str1 equals str1. And then we want to extract. Cout extracting the value of str1. Semicolon. So in this case, we need to add declarations. So what should be the declarations to be added? So I need to have I will use for loop to extract the value. So I need to use index to extract each value within the array of characters or inside or within the string. So I need to use index or I. Okay, so later on, I need also to use a value which is a character data type. Let's, for example, CH. CH will assign if we're going to extract the first position. For example, I'm going to extract the first position, which is H, I'm going to assign it to character CH. Or I'm going to assign the value of H to CH. So parang this becomes CH equals single quote H. Okay, then I'm going to display H separately. Okay, or only the single H will be displayed on screen. Then I'm going to use next line. Okay, and then next line means I'm going to display now E, and then L, and then O. So how are we going to do that? So I need to use for loop, and then I'm going to start for I is equals to 0, I is less than. Okay, in this case, how are we going to identify the size? So in this case, I is less than 5. But what if we do not know the size of the string? So how are we going to perform the size? We can use the length or the size. So here, I'm going to use str1 dot length, parentheses. Okay? Then semicolon, and then I plus plus. Okay? So again, so here, the reason why this is str1 dot length, because as we get along with the for loop, the first expression is initialization. The second one is the condition we need to test whether we already get the last position of the string. So to get the size of the string, we use str1 dot length. So it should be less than 5, not less than or equals to 5. Remember that the first position started at 0, so it should be less than only. Then, to increment the value and to extract the next character, we need to use I++. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So how are we going to extract the value? So we're going to make use of the at sign, okay, or the at method. So how are we going to do that? CH equals str1 dot, and then at parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, we need to use the index that we actually use in the for loop, at, and then I. Okay, and then we are going to display C out, CH, and then NL semicolon. So in this case, we already extracted the first position, and the first position contains the value of H. So it will then display the value only H, not the hello. We already extracted the H within the string. String still hello, but when we extract it using the at method, we use another variable to extract a single character within the string. So it will increment the value of I and proceed to the next position. And then again, that is position 1. Is 1 less than 5 true? Then we're going to extract using the at method. And then we get the index. Okay, so if we're going to run and execute the code, so if you're going to take a look at the H, sorry, it's there. Let's run again the code. So we extracted the string hello to HELLO. Let's have the other method, which is compare. So when you say compare, we are comparing two strings. So instead of using compare, we're going to make use only of the string and then the comparison operator and then another string. So let's say, for example, I have two strings, str1 and str2, same thing as what we had on the previous example. So and I have it here, hello. Okay, then again, same thing. Okay, we are going to compare it not in a word, but still we're going to compare, or the compiler will compare the values character per character. So I'm going to make use of if, and then I'm going to use str1 is equals to str2. So again, for class string, we can actually perform aggregate operation. So here, cout, and then we're going to make use of true na lang if it's true, otherwise cout false. So if I run the program, str1 is equals to str2, the answer is true. But if we're going to change any character within string 2, for example, I'm going to capitalize the third position. So the answer now is false. Okay? Now, what if I want to make use of less than? Okay? So this becomes str1 is less than str2. Take note again that all values or all characters in str1 is in lowercase format, and str2 has an uppercase format. That means that str1 is still greater than str2. So if this is the context of the condition, the output should be false. Okay? But if we're going to change the position, this becomes L and this becomes capital L. So the output now is true. Okay, so that's the comparison for string class. Another type of method is empty. So we're going to test if the string is empty. So how are we going to do that? Okay, so I'm going to use str1 object name dot, and then let's try empty. Okay, so what should be the output? That means we are testing, or we are going to test whether str1 is empty or not. So what's the answer for this? str1.empty. Since str1 contains value hello, so the output here is false. But if we're going to change str1 to str2, remember that str2 is just a declaration. So if we're going to run, it becomes true because it's empty. Okay? Next, erase. So when we say erase, it removes character from the string. Okay? Let's have an example of that. So for erase, let's have, for example, I'm going to put good morning here. And then I'm going to use str2, okay, to assign another value. But before that, I'm going to use str1 dot erase. And then we need to have the parameter within the parentheses. So the iterator first and the iterator last. So how are we going to do this? So for example, I have 5. Okay. So what should be the value now for str1? So see out. Let's see str1. Let's run the code. So if you're going to take a look at this one, this is actually good and then space. Okay, good and then space. So in this case, after we're going to erase the value of str1 after 5 characters. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, you cannot see the space anymore. So let's make this one as 6. Let's run the code. So that becomes good M. Okay, so that means I'm going to erase the value of good morning, some of the portions of the the character in the good morning after 6 characters. Okay, so str1.erase means, again, str1 is good morning. I'm going to make use of the method erase, and then I'm going to have the parameter, one parameter, a single parameter 6. That means I'm going to erase after 6 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to erase the rest of the portion, and that will be the assigned value already for str1. Okay, clear? Clear?
Clear po. Yes
Okay.
po.
So let's have another parameter. So what if I have 6, comma 2? So I'm going to erase. Let's run the code first. Okay. So in this case, the output is good, and then there's no O, okay, on the second one. So what will happen here is I'm going to erase, okay, from after the 6th position, the second character. Okay. So I'm going to erase after the 6th position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then counting to the second character after that, 1, 2. So the O has been erased because I put 2 here. Okay? So let's have this example. So I have already an example of a code for erase here. And then I'm going to also discuss append. Append means it's just actually adding or it's the same thing as combining, but this one, since it's append means we are inserting the value at the end of the position. So if the first position contains already the value at position 0, we're going to append it on the next position, which is position 1. Okay? So the syntax for the append is two parameters. We only append a single character for this particular we assign a variable for this. Okay, so let's say for example, this one contains A. CH is equals to single quote A. And we want to append it in str. Okay, so if this is str, okay, so if this is str, so initially the value of str is null. Okay, here. So once we already append it, we use the append. This is the object str dot append. We're going to append a single character, which is A. A is in characters, A is in variable CH. So whatever the value of CH, a single value will then be append to str, and that is A. So since that's append, if you're going to take a look at my cursor, the cursor is at the last position or right after A. So let's say for example, it increments the value of CH, then it becomes B. S again is B less than or equals to Z. True. So that means I'm going to append now the second character. Again, character is just a single character from CH, and I'm going to append it in str. So this becomes B. Then again, increment the value of CH. CH becomes C. Test again if C is less than or equals to Z. Then if that is true, then append it again to str, the character assigned in CH, which is a single character. So C. Then so on and so forth. So this becomes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay? So, for example, this is already like capital A. So after, for example, the small letter C in the ASCII value, the next value is A. So is capital A less than or equals to Z? For example, false. So that means stop the execution of the loop. So this is already the value or the string within a string value within object str. Okay, so this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G up to Z. Now, we're going to copy the value of str to S. So that means S also contains the value of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So I'm going to copy this to S. So this part is copying the value of str to S. So if we're going to display the value of str and the value of S here, the value are just the same. Now here, I'm going to remove, okay, the 13 characters from the beginning. Okay, so this means that I'm going to use str as our variable or object. Okay? And then, that erase means removing a character within the string value. I'm going to start it on the first position. Okay? First position. And then, remove 13 characters from the first position. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, 13, delete. Okay? Then, the rest is just NOPQRSTWXYZ. So, kanina, earlier, we just only have 13. So, if that is just 13, we're going to count 13 character first, and then after the 13 characters, I'm going to omit the rest of the characters after the 13 characters. So, that's still valid. Okay? But in this case, the syntax is, we started it on the first position, and then we're going to count 13 characters, and that 13 characters will be erased. Okay? So let's try to output this first. I'm going to put program comment here. Okay, so up to this portion only. So let's run the code. So if you're going to take a look at the output, so str and s has the same value, but when we erase value from str, so remember that we use the str now contains the value of n to z because we erase the value from starting from the first position, counting 13 characters up to m. So a to m is 13 characters. Then we delete that and just stay the value, or only will the values n to z will just the assigned value for the str. So that's str that it is 0, comma 13. Now let's have this. So remember that str contains the value NOPQRSTUVWXYZ. But in this case, this time, I'm going to reassign the value of str coming from S. So remember again that S contains A to Z. Then I'm going to erase from S. This is S. Remember that this is the value of str from the previous output. But we're going to change it. We're going to copy whatever the value of S to str. But before copying the value of S to str, we're going to use erase again. So this one is, I'm going to start it with the 13th position, or position 13. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So from this position, okay, I'm going to delete 13. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So even 13, 13 or 13 are just the same. Okay, 13 or 13, 13 are just the same. So if we're going to run and execute, the value now of str is whatever the value of s when we erase it from this syntax. Okay, so let's run the code. So A, B, C up to M. So that's the value of S. Oh, this is str. Okay, so str. Okay, so this is erase from S. Okay, next. So what if I want to remove one character? Okay, only. Okay, you may still use this one. Okay, you may use this parameter, but in this case, I'm going to make use of another method, which is s.begin. S.begins will return the value of position 0. Okay, so if this is the case, so remember that the value of here, so erase 1 second character. So in this case, s.erase, s.begin plus 1. Okay, so s.erase, remember that the value of s.erase is this one. So this is the value of s.erase. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to erase, okay, the value from string s. Starting from, this is the begin, s.begin means starting position of string s. What's the starting position of s? A. But we have plus 1. Plus 1 means b. So I'm going to erase b. Okay? After the first position. So that makes A, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. So it should be that output. Let's run again the code. A, C, D, E, F, G. So there's no B anymore because of the syntax s.begin, parentheses, it means 0 plus 1. So I'm going to erase the second character. Okay? So what's the second character here before erasing is B. Remember that the value of S is this one. And the second character, which is position 1, is at position 1, is B. I'm going to erase that. Okay? Clear? So another removing range of characters. So this is the first parameter and this is the second parameter. So this is just the same thing as s.erase, parenthesis 0, comma 4. Okay, so this is the same thing as s.erase. S.erase, s.begin means 0, S that begin plus 4 is 0 plus 4, 4. Okay? So, if this is already the position of S, so from position 0, I'm going to count 4 characters. Okay? And then, I'm going to remove the 4 characters. Let's run the code.
Oh.
So, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Okay. So, another string class method is find. When you say find, it returns the index of the first occurrence of a string in an object. Okay. So, when you say find, it returns the possession. Okay. So, let's have an example of that. Let's go back to my example here. So, let's have string, and then I have str1 equals. So, let's say, for example, I have hello. Okay. And then I'm going to declare a variable int for the possession. Okay. And then I'm going to make use of find. Okay. So we can actually find it within the character, or we can find the character, or we can find it within the string. Okay. Or the string value. So let's have, for example, post equals. Okay. And then I'm going to use str1 dot find. Okay. And then I'm going to use single quotation mark, and then I'm going to put L. So what will happen here is the compiler of C++ will look for small letter L, the first occurrence of small letter L, and it will display the first position of where we find or found small letter L. So C out, for example, L is at position. Then we're going to use pos and L. Let's run the code. So it should be at position 2. Let's see if it's at position 2. So H is 0, 1, 2. Okay? Clear? Clear?
Yes po.
Yes.
So we can also here. What if I want to wait. Hello C++ program. So if, for example, I want to see where the first position of program, which is P, okay, is indicated. So I'm going to use here, instead of single quotation mark, I'm going to use double quotation mark. Within the double quotation mark, I'm going to look for program. So is that valid? Yes, it's valid. But what will happen is it will display program is at possession, and then it will display the first character where we find program. So what's the first position of program? It's actually the P. Then let's count. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's run the code. So the output should be is at position 10. Okay, so that is fine. Now, what if, ma'am, earlier we have L. L. Then I want to see also the next occurrence of L. Okay, if that is a manual getting of the possession, you may use another. You may use another variable. Okay, post, for example, post 2. So post 2 equals str1 dot find, and then I'm going to make use of post, and then I think L also here. Sorry, L. Okay. Pos plus 1, I think. Pos plus 1. Ayan. L. So let's try to output the value. C out. Second position is at pos 2. Let's run the code. The second position is at -1. So I think cos plus 1. That's run. Yung may negative function. Makabaligtad ako. L, sorry. Okay, baligtad lang yung ano. So, for getting and looking for the second position of L here, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So, that's the second position. So, if you're going to take a look at the position, it's at position 3. So, we use str1.find and then two parameters. The first parameter is the character we are looking for. And then, since we already find the first position of L here, so we're going to make use of pos. And then, if we're going to look for another one, we use +1. Okay? So, that's for find. Okay, so for the remaining string class method, we have the insert, replace, sub, str, and swap. Then, we already know how to concatenate in a string class, providing or using the operator plus sign, combine two or more than two string values. So let's have examples for insert, replace, sub, str, and swap. Okay. For the insert first. So let's say, for example, let's just follow the example here in the PowerPoint. So let's declare string str that contains the value of this space cannot be. And then I'm going to use string.insert or object.insert. So str.insert. And then I have 4, comma, double quotation mark. And then we have the space I, space no. Okay, so take note of that. That means that I'm going to insert I know after the 4, position 4. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, or 0, 4 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. And then if you're going to take a look at this one, I have a space here. The reason why I have space here, once I insert the value I know here, okay, what will happen is, if I'm going to insert after the fourth position, this what will happen to str. Okay, so that will be the insertion or the str.insert method or insert method. After the fourth character or after the fourth character, which is s, I'm going to insert space and then I know. Okay, so you may also use this. It's either 4 or 5, but make sure that if it's 5, this is without a space, but after you have the space here. Okay, so if that is the case, okay, I'm going to copy this and insert this after the 5th position or the after 5 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to insert it here. So I'm going to copy this and insert it here, paste it. So still, there is a space because of this. So remember that. So let's run the code. After inserting, what will happen? So cout str equals str and I have 2 parentheses. Okay. So the final output of str is this I know cannot be. This I know because I put this one. Okay. Let's run again the code. So this becomes this I know cannot be. So that's insert method. So right after insert method, let's have replace. Okay, so I'm going to use str dot replace this time. Then I have 3 parameters for replace, 12, 6, and then 2. So what will happen here after that? Okay, so here, after performing insert, the value now of str is this I know cannot be. Now, I'm going to replace. I'm going to use replace method. Okay, I'm going to replace after the 12 characters. So, what's the 12 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then, I'm going to change 5 characters. How many characters is cannot? 2, 4, sorry, 6. Should be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be 6. And then I'm going to change it to 2. Okay, so again, after 12 characters, I'm going to change 2 to cannot, and you need to count the number of cannot characters, and cannot characters contain 6. So I'm going to change 6 characters, that 6 characters to 2. So what will happen now next is, from this I know cannot be to this I know to be. So we change cannot to 2. Next, the plus. Okay. So how are you going to do that? STR is equals to STR plus space correct. So if I'm going to add or combine the word correct from STR, so what will happen to STR is this I know to be correct. Let's run the code. This I know to be correct. Okay. So there is a lot more for the string class, and these are character manipulation method. If you still remember, we already used this one, the is alpha, to test if the character is an alphabet or not. So we have 2 types of character manipulation, including the character detection and the character conversion. So for example, if we detect that that particular character, for example, is an alphabet, then we can actually convert the character. It's either to a lowercase or to an uppercase value. So once we test it, we can actually convert it. But take note, we can only convert alphabets using the 2 upper and the 2 lower, the letters A to Z. Is alnum is testing whether the character within that particular position is an alphabet or a numeric one. Is digit is testing if it's a number. Is space if it's a space or a blank one. Okay? Is print, is ASCII, is CTR, is ASCII is testing whether it's included in the ASCII code or is in the ASCII value. Is punc is all the special characters, testing whether it is a special characters. For example, exclamation point, dollar sign, sharp sign, period, semicolon, question mark, all those are punctuation. So is punc. Is upper, is lower, we test if the characters are in uppercase or in lowercase. Then if it's in uppercase, then we can actually change the uppercase to lowercase, as well as if it's in lowercase, we can change the lowercase to an uppercase. So that is what we call the character manipulation method. Okay? So I think that's it for character string and string class. But before that, let me just added this method, the C underscore str method. So when you are converting string class to character string. So let me just have an example of that.